Well, I screwed that up. Okay, I screwed that up. I am, yep. Let me get my bearings straight here. I accidentally pressed the button, and now I accidentally turned off my live thing here. But hello, everyone. My name is Patrick, and this is Everyday Tech, and I am trying to find my windows here. Okay, let's see. What else can I do? I keep on pressing buttons. I have hotkeys that I shouldn't have set there. What's going on? What's going on, Robert? Thanks for joining me here. I have no way of putting up my live streams or my comments up here, but yeah, welcome everyone. I have these hotkeys set on my uh, let's see. I'm just setting things up here. I had these hotkeys set up on my eCam, and they were going crazy. And then I wasn't able to log in through eCam onto my YouTube account, so I had to use the stream key. And then, yeah, what's going on, Tommy? Sorry, I can't pull up these comments yet. I'm working on that right now. But yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Patrick. This is Everyday Tech. And today I have a few topics to talk about. I am going to talk about, let's see, the ATEM. Well, I'm trying to do things through my ATEM right now, so if you can give me a moment here. But I am going to talk about my thoughts on Apple and the new M1 chips and whether I am going to be in the market for some new Macs or not. And I have I have some strong feelings about it. And so, let's talk about it and see. And I'd like to know if any of you are planning to get a new M1 Pro or M1 Max chip. I personally have two M1 chips, and okay, this is bothering me here. Let me turn on my lighting here, and let's go color wise. Should we go blue today? Let's do a lighter blue today. How about that? How does that look? If you have a color request that's not yellow or orange, I've already noticed that it didn't work well for my skin tone here. Let me know. So let me take a sip of water here, or club soda here. And the other thing that's bothering me is that I cannot get my how do I say this? I can't get my live streams or my my chat's going here. So give me a moment to fix that as well. I think I have a way to do it, but I'm trying to find this URL here. So good evening, everyone. Uh, Thanks, Robert. I just I wanted to have the lights on there, so that's why. That's the main thing for me. Okay. Uh, but the thing I really want to do is get those chats in there, and I'm trying to get to the URL of this stream. Anyway, okay. Next time I will do more prep as far as this is concerned, but I am good. I hope everyone is doing well, and I know we don't need the chat up, Robert, but I just really want to get that chat up for some reason. So it's just it makes me feel more complete as far as getting you guys more engaged. Or, I mean, how do I say it? Not more engaged, but just it makes me feel like you guys are more part of the chat here. But you know what? You're right. We're going to forego that chat, and I'm just going to move on with my content here. And okay, so we are talking about M1 Mac Pros and M1 Max chips. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the website, Apple website, and kind of give you my thoughts on the different things, and then kind of address something that that were really bothered by. And of course, I am talking about the notch, and I think people have the notch wrong, all wrong as far as that's concerned. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go through the website here, and I'm just going to go through my thoughts, and then let's see what we're going to do. And 34 Skylines. I'm thinking about buying an M1 Max 16-inch currently with the Mac Pro, and so I will kind of give you my thoughts on, and it really depends on what your situation is and what you're doing this for. And so I don't, again, these are going to be my thoughts. And so if you feel like if you have the money to spend, first of all, I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money. And I understand there's so many things here. So many things here, so many things that gear that I have that I definitely don't need, but I got. And I can never fault anyone for just wanting gear. Some of this is hobby for us. But let me get into this right now, and I'm going to switch my eCam into here. Okay. These are the new Mac Pros, and I'm just going to go through, and I thought this is the best way to give you my thoughts on there. But this is definitely a pro, how do I say this? A pro device. When they say pro, this is the first time I believe that they are telling the truth here. This is definitely a pro device. And it doesn't mean you can't do pro things with the regular M1. And I think a lot of people are. And a lot of people are not going to get this because they love their M1s, regular M1s. I personally have an M1. I have an M1 Mac Mini, and then I have an M1 MacBook Air, and I have 16 gigabytes of RAM on each of them. They have the same specs, 16 gigabytes and 512 SSD, and one of them is a work computer actually. So I got the Air through work, and then I bought the Mac Mini personally, and I would say my best decisions as far as I've ever made as far as computers are concerned. But with that said, let's get through these really quick. And it does have a high price there. And I'll get to my thoughts on the pricing as well. But the one thing I will say about the design is they are bringing... Okay, let's first talk about speed here. And when Apple says 3.7x, and I think this is like one of the most frustrating things for me as well, I think for a lot of people, is what does that really mean? And we don't have any sense of what the 13x really means performance wise. That's why we love benchmarks, but Apple doesn't like to do benchmarks necessarily. So but I will say, even though they said that in their previous announcements of the regular M1s, it really felt like it was so much faster. And reading some of these faster CPU performance, I think they're still comparing it to the previous Intel chips as well, the fastest Intel chips in a MacBook Pro Intel chip. So you are definitely going to see the upgrade for this. The main thing is MagSafe 3 is here. We have the HDMI port, which is awesome. I love my Mac Mini because it does have an HDMI and it does have Thunderbolt. Well, okay. The Mac Mini, M1 Mac Mini has USB 4 with Thunderbolt 3. And these are very important distinctions, actually. These have Thunderbolt 4. And it just happens to have you need to know what the specs mean. So the Thunderbolt USB 4 and Thunderbolt 3 from the M1 Max do have the potential to have the high speed as the Thunderbolt 4. But what Thunderbolt 4, the specs, what they do guarantee are guaranteed minimum speed. I believe it's up to 40 gigabytes, or anyway, I'm not going to go for the exact numbers, but the other thing that I'm making here is it does guarantee multiple displays. So it can do up to two 4K displays, I believe, or two 6K displays, XDRs, but I believe it can do more other displays as well. The point is, you can at least do 2 to 3. Well, you can do 3 displays on these M1 Mac Pros, two at least through the Thunderbolts, and through one through the HDMI. So there is the guarantee for having these ports. So let me just give a shout out to Sammy joining here. Thank you, Sammy. Just it's funny, my son got almost the same exact haircut. Well, I gave him the haircut, and I went to paid for this one. So thanks for joining me. I don't have my chat set up, but yeah, long story. Should have prepared more beforehand, but I'm just going through the specs of the M1 Mac, M1 Pro and Max, and we will just share my thoughts, and I will get to eventually my strong thoughts on the notch itself. So yeah, so the specs are awesome here. You can do multiple ports. I was thinking about doing a video on USB-C and the standard of the terrible, confusing standard of USB-C. I think it's the best connector, but the way they've tried to explain it and market it, it's just so confusing. There's USB Type-C 3.0, 3.1, there's 2.0, 3.2, 3.2 Gen 2, there's Thunderbolt 3, Thunderbolt 4, USB 4. These all use the same connector, and they all mean different things, or they can be very different depending on what you buy. Okay, then we are going into the Pro chips here. For me, this is where it gets really interesting, where you have up to 10 cores, 16 GPU cores, and I am a Final Cut Pro user, and so this is especially when you have the encoder and decoder chips built into the system on a chip here. So this is going to be awesome, and I'm not sure if they're going to go through the display here. Just everything is going to be so much faster. Let's see what Tommy says here. The M1 Pro is limited to 2 external displays without a workaround. M1 Max can support up to 4 externals. Okay, that's good to know. I believe. Let's see how those can do. I'd like to see what the test comes out to confirm that as well. So, 34 Skyline says this is going to be my first M1 and laptop. Always been a desktop user. And what I'll just say is, without giving too much away, I think you're going to be really happy with what you're, with these machines. There's just no way these are going to slow you down at all. So that's all I'll say that for now. And then the other big thing I would say is, the huge thing is this thing, the XDR display on these laptops are going to be amazing. I think that alone, with the Liquid Retina XDR, that's what they're calling it, and the ProMotion, because Apple does their ProMotion pretty well, especially on the iPad Pros. It's going to be awesome. I think you're going to have a hard time going back to them. So just all these specs, I'm not going to go through them all at once. If I were to get it, man, if price wasn't an issue, I think I would go for the 16-inch, because I just haven't had. The last time I had a bigger display was a 15.4, I believe, MacBook Pro back in the day. Intel version. It was a dual core. But yeah, that was, I just kind of, even going back to the 13-inch after that, I felt like a huge difference. And then this is true Retina display this time, ×2. Is that what that means? And okay, so now here we come to my thoughts, because we're getting to of course, it's nice to have the 1080p HD. I have a 720p camera in my MacBook Air, even though it's an M1. But everyone has been talking about the notch. And I think everyone is, those who are complaining about it, I just have to, I get it. It looks a little bit weird, just initial looking at it. But I will say that Apple is not, because everyone points it out as Apple is um, taking, or Apple is putting something in the way of us. Like they added the notch there. Actually, can argue something differently. They didn't add the notch, and I'm going to use my mouse here to point it out. What did they do? Well, I think they added more screen. You have to look at it that way. They didn't add a notch here. They added more screen here and pushed this menu bar on top. So what does this mean in practice? Well, I went to this in Mac Rumors. This is the one of the top rated comments in this article here, but I'll link to this in the description below. But this is what happens, how the notch is explained, and I thought it was a very good way to explain it. When the menu bar is visible, it's all there, right? So they really push the menu bar up. But when you go into a full screen mode on an app, what happens? Well, first of all, let me just say this area right here, minus the menu bar, is a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, which is what it is, which is what the laptops are now, 16 by 10. So basically they just took away the bezels. It's actually, if you count it from this corner to this corner here, it's actually a little bit more than a 16.10 16 by 10 aspect ratio. Actually, they just extended it up and gave you more visible space. And what's going to happen is most people are going to not forget about that. It's just the initial shock. Would you rather have them have a bump up here? No, I'd rather have them have this sleek design. So, yeah, the Samsung, yep. And so, but because Apple's doing it, it's Skyline saying Samsung Tab S8 Ultra has the notch also. But the problem is this is Apple, and these are going to be more popular. And so what happens is when they go in full screen, what happens? It's going to be black. No one's going to notice at all. All the apps they showed they just showed a black screen. So it's going to be a screen. And so gets to something I want to show with you. You know, even on the iPhone, when the notch first came out, they actually created some, how do I say this? They created some APIs or different things in Xcode for people to take advantage of the spaces on the notch, left and right. And there was only one app that I really saw that did it, which is Halide, which is a camera app. So let me show this off here. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. So Halide is an app here, and if you see, I can't point it out on I can't do a pointer here, but if you see on the app itself, my iPhone's on the right side here. You see that there's that histogram or thing moving on the left side there. That's the histogram. And on the right side is, I think, the, how do I say it? The exposure compensation. So if I go up, I can do the exposure compensation here. So they took advantage actually of those two spots there instead of leaving it blank, or instead of doing the default system, time and battery. And so that they actually did a really good job of trying to take advantage of this. And this is a picture of my daughter here. So I just want to show you that. Yeah, so this is really awesome how they do it. And as far as I know, there's been some speculation on if Apple were to make that part of the notch accessible. I'm not sure. Would this part right here be programmable? We have to wait and see, and I haven't heard anything yet as far as developers are concerned. if they're able to take advantage of that. So that would be cool because we're always trying to get some kind of, um, you know, utility here. So thanks, Robert, for joining me. I will have more things set up correctly next time, but I know you don't care. Thank you for being a good supporter of the channel. And then the last thing I'll show you is this. When it goes into full screen mode, 16:9, you're going to have the bezels, the black bars. And what it shows here without the notch, I don't know. We'll have to see how it looks in person. I hope they make it like centered. And so with the black bars, meaning I hope they don't put more black bar on the top here than on the bottom. So yeah, so that is my thoughts, just kind of stepping through the specs here as far as Apple is concerned here. So let me go back to my main cam here. So okay, the big question for me is, will I be purchasing this guy? That is a tough question. Well, it's easy. It's easy for me to answer that actually now. Let me bring it all the way up to here. Sorry, making you dizzy. Will I be purchasing this guy here? And I will say no. And if you are someone on the fence, I would say those who know that they need it will buy it. I mean, those who make money off these. I don't make money off YouTube yet, and I'm hoping to sometime. No, it's not my main purpose of doing YouTube. I just love doing these videos. I never thought I'd get monetized, and but it is a goal, but not my main goal. But in other words, I'm not doing client work with this. Maybe later on, if I do client work, what I'm saying is my M1 Mac Mini and my M1 MacBook Air has been able to do everything that I need and even with with headroom to spare. And I have not had any shortage of it at all. So, so because I have already the M1s, I'm not willing to, because here's the thing. It starts at $19.99. And I would argue with people that getting a baseline, it depends on your needs though, of course. Getting a baseline M1 Mac Mini, base, 8 gigs, depends on what you need. You can get a refurbished one from Apple side for sometimes under $600. That is an awesome computer that you're going to have for like 5 or 6 years at least. So yeah, that's what I would say. But if you're one who does video editing for a living for other people, I would say yes, get one of these M1 Pros, because time is money, and having that decoder encoder chip it built in is gonna, I can't wait for the benchmarks. People are gonna go crazy for the benchmarks, right? Okay, so that's kind of my thoughts as far as the new M1 Pros. I think they're beautiful machines. Here's the thing also, people, I was like listening to another live stream, and people always argue, oh, but Apple products cost so much more money. Now, I will reserve my judgment on that statement as far as the new M1 Pros and M1 Max machines are concerned. They are expensive. And I don't know if you're going to get an equivalent machine on that to Windows. We're talking about per wattage, battery life, how much it can be pushed. It's just, I don't think there's going to be a Windows PC machine that can be comparable for what you get for the price. Now, of course, there are other reasons why you want a Windows machine. For example, I did this video a couple weeks ago on my multicam setup, and I just used 4 USB capture cards to do a kind of a multicam setup. And here's the thing. Sorry, getting some alerts here. Gonna put on my uh, do not disturb here. But I would say that M1, the regular M1, has blown away the competition as far as like any laptops out there, as far as Intel laptops are concerned. But back to the Windows PC, I did the USB. Sorry, I'm losing track, but I did the USB capture card thing. And what I would say is the USB. The nice thing about having a Windows PC, and we'll see if Apple does anything with their uh, Pro desktop machines. That's really the last piece of the Intel transition. They're in year one right now, almost done with year one. But anyway, so I would say, but if we're comparing the M1 chips, the regular M1 chips, the non-Pro ones, there's nothing that beats it as far as value is concerned. But but it depends on what you need. So if you're one who wants, let's say, the Elgato Pro, which has four inputs, but not just four inputs to switch, but you can use all four inputs, meaning expansion. And right, so right now, Windows is the best way to go for those kind of things. But we'll see how Apple does the transition to their desktop, Pro desktops. But the problem is it's going to be really expensive. So, uh, in other words, if like I would say Apple something like something like a Tesla or something. But if you're only needing to go, down the street every day, and you're not, you know, you're not too worried about, you just want to get there, and you're not too worried about how you look, you're not too worried about all these things, and you just really want a form of transportation. Well, why not get a cheaper car? Why not get a bike? Different, different machines though, different needs. But is buying the Ferrari or the Tesla or whatever expensive car worth it? Well, it depends on you. But if you're one who does, a commute um, every day, of course you got to follow. That's the thing, the speed limit. So it's like what I'm saying is different needs, different tools, and I don't like the argument of the Apple tax because there's so many things that are involved in that. So I'm not saying Apple is the only thing, and people who say uh, Apple is the only thing here to use, then I would say, well, your point is a little bit I mean, your vision of things is a little bit narrow there. So okay, so that's what I would say is I'm not buying one of these. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be envious of it, but yeah. Okay, let's see. The next thing I will talk about is some new gear, and I will say that I'm hoping that this will be one of the last pieces of new gear that I have in coming up in a while. Uh, so what I want to do is okay. So I've been ever since we've been here working from home. I have been slowly building up my office here. So in the next couple weeks, in the next week or two, I will be doing my 2021 office tour, updated office tour. It's more of desk tour actually. I don't want to show you my office because it's a mess here. But it's a multi-purpose room here. It's not just a studio here. And even my setup, my computer setup is not a YouTube setup, although I have enough to do make it a dedicated YouTube space, but it's really my work machine, and I do web development, and that's my number one job, and that's what I do all day. But I wanted to do something that was kind of both, and so I've been slowly building up my office studio here. And so the previous week, I introduced this guy. This is the Rode Pod mic, and I've been liking it a lot. And yeah, it's been really good to me as far as what I need it for. And I realized I don't have my okay, let me load in some audio audio. I had some audio processing that I didn't turn on. It doesn't store it automatically. So this is going to be a test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Now I just testing 1, 2, 3. I'm going to see if that's. I'm going to listen to the replay back and see if I can hear a little bit of a difference in that. Anyway, so now I have my pod mic here. I've been able to do a little bit of EQing, trying to get it to how I sound. I'm not an audiophile, and I don't always know what to look for. So I'll be playing around with this more. But I will say I've been slowly. It's louder. Good. Yeah. I hope it's clear. I mean, just not. I mean, I hope it's not going to. How do I say it? Hope it's not peaking though. I don't see it peaking at all. So hope it sounds okay. It's what I forgot to load in. I need to go through back to my Notion checklist and I'm going to get back into some Notion stuff for those who want it. But okay, so I've got the pod mic, but one thing I had it last week on was a stand because I had this cheap arm, mic arm with it, and I knew it was the sound is clear, but there is a big difference when you move. Okay, I am trying not to move as well, so I know the louder volume will pick up more. So here is the thing that I am going to do. Here is let's see, this is the new thing. So I had a oh yeah, that's true. So I am working on trying to be before this is probably driving you crazy right now, so I'm going to try to be as still as possible. And I noticed that when I did that before, it made a big difference because this has good rejection as far as mic is concerned. So I'm really liking this mic. So there's a few upgrades that I did, and let me cut to. But my latest, I'll just get to the point here. My latest upgrade is, whoa, not that one. Let's see. Here's the pod mic. The latest upgrade is this guy here. This is the Elgato low profile mic stand here. And it's able to, first of all, support, and forgive me for the noise here, support all the, support the weight of this pod mic. This pod mic is heavy compared to any other mic I've tested or held. And then it does have the nice cable ties here. The nice thing about the biggest thing I like though is a low profile here, and it can go under my monitor here, which is awesome. So when I'm gonna not speak for a little bit here, but when I'm not using my mic, I can just go put it away. And it can just really be out of the way. And then now I can just, when I'm using it, and my mouse can be just right under it without any hindrance here. And so let me just give you a sneak peek of my 2021 desk setup here. I had a 2021, and most of the components are the same. That's new, which is my speakers. This is new, not new, but I started utilizing this. This has been upgraded to the Pro version. This has been always there. This has moved, but this has been here for a while. That light is new. I'm talking about from last time. This monitor is a portable monitor, 13-inch portable monitor that I use mainly for Slack from work. And then and then I moved the M1 Mac Mini and the dock down here. So there it is, and there's my dock. Hard drive that's attached to it. And so I have everything on multiple docks or not monitor, but desk mounts. So desk mount there, which is this is a dual desk mount there, which is holding that 13-inch, and it's used to clamp my camera here. And then I have another monitor arm. Sorry. Next to this mic arm, there's a monitor arm there, which is holding this huge 35-inch ultra wide monitor. And then I have another light there that's clamped onto it too. I have my lamp up there that I put on top of these speakers. Anyway, I'm going to go through these. I'll probably try to film it this week and release it the next week after that, following that. So, yeah, I'm just having fun creating this. I did release a video recently on Final Cut Pro object tracking, and so yeah, let's see. Good question on this one. I don't mind telling you right now. And I will say, mention more of this. This is a cheap monitor here that I got off eBay for like, I'm talking about like $20, $30. That has, I think it's used mainly for backup cameras or something, but it has an HDMI in, and the color of this is not very accurate, although it looks pretty good right now at this certain angles. This is my multi-monitor setup that's running out of my A10 Mini Pro here. So I can change, what this looks like here. I can change it to any input I want as far as, but this is my multi-view. I really only have this camera. I do have 4 different cameras that I can put to it. So yeah, so it looks like a lot of cameras, but I really only have 2 cameras hooked up right now. I could put more. And I just want to say hi to Mommy Lala there, Mommy Guide. Hope to be talk to you soon on your channel in November sometime. And thanks for joining me from the Philippines. Just hanging out here. I was just talking about whether we should get the M1 Pros or M1 Max. I would say most people can still get away with the M1s right now, and I'm definitely not upgrading to those. And then I'm just kind of giving you a sneak peek of my upcoming desk tour. And the other thing is, I still, my from before, let's see, I still have this desk here, which is from, anyway, I think it's from Wayfair. It's called the Langston desk. This is a huge desk, and yeah, so I have some, I'll go through the details here. I'm not going to do a room tour because my room's a little bit messy here. So, but I do have these lights back there I talked about last week. These are just clamp lights on a with a smart bulb in there. So that's why we're able to get these purple lights. And yeah, so the nice thing about these lights is, or the M1 Mac actually, is I'm able to run mobile apps on here. So that's how I'm able to, I just pull up the mobile app for these light bulbs, and I'm able to change the background really easily. And then during the daytime when I'm doing on Zoom calls, I don't want to be too fancy here. I can go right straight to the white color. So yeah, so I kind of like this feature as far as these live streams are concerned, or any of my videos. So Mommy Lala says I have the M1 Mac Mini just a few months back. That is, that I this is my best. It's definitely my best purchase. Seriously, I can't believe it. Yeah. So, how many smart bulbs did you use for the background? I'm only using 2 right now. I do have a third clamp light and a third bulb, and I just might use it as a hair light, which I don't know if I need. I just did get a haircut, and I don't know if that will change things or not. But yeah, so surprisingly they were bright enough, as far as you can kind of see one right here, and it's just clamped to like a folding table that's right there, but it's just hitting whatever lights. And so there's a desk back here, which I used to use before I got this desk, when I wasn't working from home, but just so I use it occasionally. My wife still uses that desk. So this is a multi-purpose room, basically, is what I'm saying. And so we don't necessarily have to, if I had a dedicated space, I would do this a little bit differently as far as background is concerned, trying to give it a little more character. But this room is all about utility first, and then I can do a little bit of aesthetics that way, but you'll never. Maybe that might be a dream if I ever move to have a dedicated studio space as far as that's concerned. But yeah. And again, I would say check out Mama Lala's channel. She does a lot of things. She is in the Philippines, so it is a 12-hour difference here. But yeah, so thanks. I'm thinking about getting smart bulbs, but I don't know how many I need. I would say start with at least 2 and get one of those clamp. And let me see if I have those clamps. Oh, I do have one. And I don't know how. So these are just simple clamp lights, and we do have. I don't know how it is in the Philippines, but you should be able to get these at hardware shops too. I got this off Amazon, but in the U.S. you can get these are readily available in Home Depot as well, or any hardware store. But you really clamp this on something. I plugged it in, and just it reflects very well off here. There's different size ones. These are really for plants, I think, but I've been using them for a bunch of things. And you could just clamp them anywhere, or just put them on the desk as a stand. So those are very cheap, and I in at least 2 weeks. And let me focus here. Yeah, yeah, those clamp lights are the best as far as most affordable. Now the lights themselves or the bulbs themselves, they're by Sylvania. I will try to. I keep on saying this, but I will try to update the description below with that. In 2 weeks, my plan is to finish a video on my desk tour, and I will link everything that I have on this desk or that I use for YouTube and these live streams. Everything in the description below. Let me get this a little bit closer to me. But everything we're doing there. So, yeah. And then lastly, let me talk about my channel here and direction I'm going. And I did mention that I will be doing a studio tour this week. I have a video coming out called 5 Ways to Go Live, and I compare different ways of going live. Today I'm using Ecamm, but I compare how going live using the browser directly, using StreamYard. I use Ecamm Live, OBS, and my 810 Mini Pro. So that's what's being released this week. I had that done maybe a week or 2 ago, but I wanted to do my Final Cut Pro update video, and that video is actually doing very well. It's getting a lot of views, and a lot of views for me is anything. I'm happy with anything over 100. I have a few that are a couple thousand. Of course, my most viewed video is still on the later case, the iPhone 12 later case. But yeah, that has 12,000 views. But I'm trying to do this we call it evergreen content, and I was on Ash's channel talking about that. But yeah, these kind of things where I'm not gonna always have the latest stuff, but yeah, Final Cut Pro 10.6 update. That's doing very well right now. And the reason why I'm kind of bringing this up is because I have reached a milestone here as far as I am, because we were really excited for John. If you don't know John, Coffee Talk and Tech, he got monetized. He got 1,000 plus subscribers, and that's what I'm heading to, and that's my goal for this next coming up year. So but one of the things that I was worried about is not being able to give enough watch hours, and I'm happy to say that I am above the 4,000 watch hours now. So I'm at 542 subscribers, and I'm just kind of growing steadily. and I am happy where we're at. And it's just in most 95% of my viewers are probably non-subscribers, but I appreciate all everyone. And I really appreciate those of you who are here to kind of like help me through. And I'm just having a lot of fun going through a lot of these things. And even um yeah, just having a community here and just meeting everybody here. Robert's been a big supporter here. And me and like Tommy just been recently, we've been helping out Kat as far as um Kat Mulvihill. We're helping her with her live chats. And yeah, I'm really happy. I'm still blown away anytime anybody subscribes, and let alone 542. Like, what are you guys watching? And so I'm just, but there's, we can always connect with somebody, and there are a lot of people out there who, some reason, like my content. So, yeah. So if we're, Ash is really big on the analytics here, but if we're looking at like, let's say, my analytics here, I always look at how many people are looking at my last 48 hours, how many views. That's what I used to look at before. And I said I would be happy if I have 100 viewers every day. And so the meaning 200 views in the last 48 hours, right? But I'm over 1,000 for some reason this past couple of days. And so I did some calculations. If you really want to get the 4,000 hours and of watch time, you need to get the 4,000 hours within a year's period of time. So it doesn't mean you just keep accumulating, and I don't have to put out a video anymore. But you need to get at least, around 10 and a half to 11 hours of watch time a day. And, for some reason lately, I've been averaging, 20 to 30. So this has been awesome. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone out there who has been watching, subscribing, and just slowly, or just slow. I just love the slow kind of constant build as far as this YouTube channel is concerned. I again, I am breaking I'm trying to not follow any rules as far as I'm not even niching down. Maybe eventually I will. I don't know. Into maybe I'm not doing all Notion right now. I'm just doing anything I'm interested in, and that's what keeps me motivated. I'm doing all tech, and I don't care what it is. So uh we just got a new car the other day, and am I gonna do a car review? I don't know. But and what that allows me to do is to really try to push the envelope and do different content. So, and car videos are hard though. So there's anyway. um but there's just different things. I started the channel with a very generic channel, everyday tech, generic channel name, I should say. And for a while, if you did everyday tech, you could never find my channel. Other people who with 2 subscribers or something, they would show up before mine. And I purposely picked a very plain logo. So eventually, those are some things I will work on. Maybe get some people to help me create a more original logo. I just created that on Canva one day, and so it's kind of stuck. And it's people somehow connect with it. So yeah, so I just want to say a big thank you, and we are getting there. I guess a mini goal is, you know, let's let's get to 600 by the end of the year. That's weird to say. I had a goal of 300 subscribers by the end of the calendar year, and so now I'm saying 600. So so I went way past that one. So anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling here. I hope everyone is doing well. I will have a more structured show coming up maybe next week. Well, okay, that's another thing. Next week, I will be coming back on a family trip. And so I hope I may or may not do a live stream. We'll see how late it gets by the time we get back. It is a 5-hour drive to that part of Virginia. So we are going to a retreat. And yeah, we're kind of excited to do something like that. We haven't done that in a while. It's a church conference. But yeah. So I just want to say thank you for everyone. Thank you, Tommy, for joining. Thank you, Mommy Lala, for the congratulations. Thank you, Robert, always being there. For those watching on the replay, I know Sammy was in here earlier. Yeah, and of course, 34 Skyline was here earlier as well. I think he's still here. Anyway, thank you for everyone for joining me. I will be wrapping this up. New video coming out probably on Wednesday, and then the desk tour video coming out the following week, and then other things coming up. I will do some more Notion updates. So I have a bunch of things in the pipeline, and yep. So I will stop here. Hope everyone has a great night, and let me play my outro music, which is the same as my countdown music, and I hope everyone is doing well. All right. Talk to you all later.